Welcome to Dyson Sphere Program. My name is Niklaus, and this is a short tutorial on mechanics, ratios, and transfer speeds in Dyson Sphere Program. As a YouTuber, I do a lot of research to see when a new game comes out, to see who else is there, what else are they doing, and to see if there are any new tricks and trends developing. And oh my god, do we need to talk about ratios. I think that a lot of people are addressing this game incorrectly, not just YouTubers or streamers, but I think a lot of people are addressing it incorrectly in terms of getting the ratios right. So let me help with this one, so you can build better factories and not always just go like, I guess I need to throw in more assemblers, inserters. Oh, sorry, they're called sorters in this game. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about miners, belts, sorters, smelters, assemblers, and look at some common designs. Let's dive in. I think the most logical place to start is with a miner. So a miner has a specific functionality. You tag it on here, you place it here, and you can use the shift function to... You can only rotate it one way. Okay. Okay, so you can do it here, so you can get more available materials here. Let's see if we can get a good one. And over here, this should be possible. And now I have to rotate it all the way around again. That looks good. That looks good. That should be 6, right? And then it counts how many you're actually tagging, and that should be what our goal is. We want to make sure that we tag 6. There, 6 is a good number. Why? Well, the thing is, this is producing 180 per minute or 3 per second, and that comes from because it is covering 6 veins. So each vein that it is covering is providing 0.5 per second per ore vein that is tagged. And the belts, to go into that, the belts are, you can see this one, this is producing 180, and you can see this looks very much like a half full belt. The belts are transporting 6 items per second. And if we do this one, we can actually not quite see it, but they are transporting, here we can see it, transporting 6 per second speed. And that means if you want to fill up a full belt, and you absolutely want to fill up a full belt, why wouldn't you? You need to take 2 mines of 6 veins each, tap it down here, go, and that also maybe just a new thing. You can merge belts together by this way. It will be side merging, just like in Factorio. We'll just wait until there's space on this primary belt, and it works. And now we have a full belt here, and these two should be balancing. This one had actually stacked up, that's why. But you can see here all the stuff that comes in, the speed it comes in is also the speed it goes out, so it doesn't increase or decrease at all, while this one is likewise not increasing or decreasing at all. So that's the easy part. When you put down a mine, try to get six veins, and then try to put 2 miners in, or at least you're gonna need 2 miners to fill up a full belt. So maybe it's 7 and 5, but try to make it even to 12 so you actually get a full belt. So with that done, we now have a full belt, and that's what we're gonna work with, and that's gonna be basically the premise from here. Let's talk about sorters or inserters, if you feel that's a better name. I have a problem calling them sorters, but let's try and call them sorters. That's what the game is calling them. I might be calling them inserters. That's just old Factorio habits that die hard. So they are here, and I've also seen a lot of horrendous examples of going, why do you display the things that you shouldn't be doing? No, don't do that. Anyway, this is way too common to see, and I did that myself. And if you do that, then you start going like, well, how do I put more on the belt like that? No, you can put them sideways as well, even though it doesn't necessarily look like it. So the best way to place things is definitely from here and drag it out. So if you put it here, there's a different speed for the different ranges they have. So you can get it at range 1, at range 2, or at range 3, but it gets slower the faster or the further it has to go, which makes perfect sense, and it is absolutely amazing. So you can actually have 3 parallel belts and put them into a machine or a box, or likewise outbound. When it comes to sorters, first of all, they are actually filtered immediately, so you can have multiple things going in here and then filter them with sorters. That's pretty neat that you have this as a default feature. Let's look at the most important thing here, is the transfer speed. If it is at range 1, reach 1, it has a transfer speed of 1.5, But if you're working twice as long on reach 2, then it only has 0.75. And even worse on range 3, then or reach 3, it has a reach of 0.5. How did I just mess up my power in this base? Damn it. It must be some solar power that's on the wrong side of the planet. What this means is that if you want to empty a belt, you need 4 sorters at range 1, which also means that if you're taking something from a belt, you have to remember this belt is only going to take 6 per second. So you need to be able to figure out how many inserters that is. So it's 4 inserters, it's 8 inserters, or it's 12 inserters to respectively fill or empty a belt at these ranges. You also have range 2. Let's actually just do this and put something in here. Let's put all of this in here so we can see that it is actually working instead of just me talking about it. You can see the massive difference between how fast they come in and out. We also have Mark 2 inserters. I should also say that we're talking early game, so it's not talking about stacking, we're not talking about upgrades, we're not talking about better belts. This is just to get you started. So early game, these are the numbers you need to work with. But you also get the inserters, level 2, Mark 2 inserters, pretty quickly, and they have a speed twice as fast. So that's 3, 1.5, and 1.0 respectively. That means if you need to build some designs, you have to be careful about how much is going in and out. There's a lot of things where it maybe takes 1 item in and 2 items out. Then you actually need to have the output belt closer than the input belt to be able to serve it. So now we know miners, belts, and sorters. Excellent. Let's take a look at the actual machines and what their speed and how they work. Let's talk about machines such as smelters and assemblers. Let's start with the basic smelter coming in here, and we are going to simply smelt some iron ore, and let's hook it up as we would expect. And this one is working at a 1 per second. That's very nice. That's a very nice ratio. Now let's see what we can build in terms of the assembler here. One more thing that is also super important is that you don't need belts between them. If you make them 2 tiles from each other, you can go directly, and that is a massive improvement. So this one, what are you gonna make? You're gonna make just something like gears. There we go. It is making gears, and then you're gonna like, why is it 45 per second? Is it not going fast enough? Well, first of all, it's not going fast enough because this one is 2 tiles. So remember, 0.75, so it's not getting faster than 0.75. But the thing is, even if I speed it up, then it's going to be faster. It'll just fill it in here. Let's also make sure that we get things out so that it doesn't stockpile here. And we're going to make sure, oops, that's a bit too far. These are now only 0.5 because I built them a bit too far away. Try to be careful about this, because it actually changes quite a lot on your transfer speed, and suddenly you invent a bottleneck that you really didn't need. I'm just gonna make this so we're absolutely sure it's fast enough. So we scaled this one up to two sorters, and yet it's still only working at 45 speed. So even though I put more iron in, it's not gonna make it any faster. That actually means that that one and that one are not necessary. Why? Because this bloody thing here, Assembly Machine Mark 1, has an awful speed of 0.75. And why did they have to do the same horrible thing as the blue assemblers in Factorio? I hate working with 0.75 ratio, but the good thing about it is it now fits the inserter speed or the sorting speed, and also it means that ratios are going to be a bit more interesting, and that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at some of the default interesting designs that you're going to be starting with, basically to make the blue cubes, and that means it's the circuit boards and it is the magnetic coils. Let's take a look at what they're going to be like. So let's take a look at the default starting production you're going to be automating in the beginning, and that's going to be in here. Remember the 0.75 crafting speed. We're going to take the magnetic coils and we're going to look at the circuit boards. Let's take circuit board first because, well, it's just plates. Shouldn't that be easy, right? That should be super easy. So what is it going to look like? Well, we're going to get, if this was a crafting speed of 1, that would be absolutely excellent, right? Then you just need to get 1. Okay, not there. Not there, my friend. Not there. You just need to get 1, 2 of these in for iron plates. I would, in this case, I would recommend, oh yeah, also another thing, copy, paste. Depending on your keyboard, these should be, I don't know, take a look at it. It says in the hotkeys, I'm on a European keyboard, so I localized the European keyboard, so it's some weird keys here. But find the keys on your keyboard and use it for copy pasting. It is super efficient once you get used to it. So what I'm gonna do is I could take this one and get in here, and then I would say this is an excellent way to do things. You can do direct insertion from 2 like this. Super nice. You can even bring it into the middle if you feel so inclined. You can take this one and then you can take it 1 and 2, and then on the side you can try to make sure that it gets. Does that work? Doesn't seem super aligned, but it still works because you can still get these in here, and then you made it super compact because you have to get a bit more tiles in between. And then we have it a very nice compact build, and that's gonna be here, and these will be iron and copy paste. Yeah, and let's hook it up just to see that it works. And of course we're gonna get some copper in here to make it work. But the thing is, this is not actually working, because if you look at this is, remember, this is speed 0.75, so you're not really consuming the right ratio. That means if you want like an ideal ratio for these things, yeah, it's gonna be horrible. It's gonna be horrible. But I can try to set it up here just to give you a sense of the ideal ratio that you would need to have. So you're gonna need some copper, some iron smelting. Let's actually just hit it one with iron smelting, and it gets a bit easier to copy because this one is this is like the best copy paste function. Yeah, we're gonna need 6 of these, and we're also gonna need to smelt some copper. And let's change that to copper smelting, and then copy it twice again. And we're going to get some of these, and that's gonna be, so it would be, if it was speed 1, it would just be 3. But the fact is, it's 3/4 speed, so it's actually, yeah, that's the ratio we need to do. I would not recommend building it at this ratio. It's simply too much. It takes a full copper belt and a full iron belt and half a copper belt just to feed this. I would actually just go half of it and then take the copper in on the side. This is good ratio for iron, but it is not great ratio for copper, so bring in the copper on the belt, and the final design could look something like what we built over here. This one. And you can see how compact it is. You get iron ore coming in on one side, but you get copper plate coming in on the other side. And these can all be Mark 1 inserters. In this case, I have done something that I actually don't think is correct. You can see here I'm using Mark 2, but it isn't actually necessary, so let's improve it. Just careful not to take that one out, because if you look at the inputs these ones are taking less inputs than outputs. They craft 2 for every input out in, so you'd actually want to have the copper on the outside and the product we are producing on the inside. And of course this gets horrible over here, but that's we can take that out and go this way and then go in here. That should be fine. What this means is now you don't have to use it. You can take inbound with the long inserters and outbound with the short inserters, and that will now match the ratio. You'll see that they will be working at the correct speed. They will be outputting if I was just consuming here instead. But it works, it works, it works, it works. And the base we can test it is by just getting a box here and then make sure that we have some inserters. We're just gonna make some fast ones to be absolutely sure we clear the belt fast enough. What you will be seeing here is that every time the one is created, it's also output immediately because they're fast enough at outputting. They're outputting 1.5 because they're short Mark 1s, and that's enough. And that will exactly also give us half a belt. You can see the spaces here. So half a belt here. Let's look at the other materials. What is it called? It is called a magnetic coil. So let's build a magnetic coil here. Boom. And what does it take? It takes every 1 second, it takes 2 coils and 1 copper. But we have to remember that it is working at 0.75, so it takes 1.5 coils and it takes 0.75 copper. Alright. Again, I would recommend getting copper in on a line, copper plates in on a line, and build this close to your iron smelting, so you got a dedicated line here. So what do we want? We want to make a smelting. Let's have a look at this smelting to see what it's going to be. Smelting is directly here. Now this is where things get really difficult, or really weird, because this is actually 1 every 1.5 seconds, and I don't know how many will be looking at this and go like, oh, well, if this is 1.5 per second and this is 1 every 1.5 seconds, that's even. No, it's not. It's not even close. This is producing 0.667 per second, and this one is consuming 1.5 per second. So even with 2 of these, you're actually at a deficit. You're not actually getting what you want to be getting. So even though we built something like this, it's a bit weird that I can't shift them just a tad over here. I wanted this one overlapping here, and I want this one overlapping here. Looking good. So if we do this build, this one sets up. Coils, this one sets up here, and copy paste. And I'm gonna get another power pole here. So what we're seeing here is that this will actually produce 1.33 repeating, and this will consume 1.5. So it's not actually a good ratio. If you want the ideal ratio, but don't do it, you'd need 9 of these smelters, 6 of these assemblers. No, sorry, 9 of these plus 4 of those. So if you have a ratio of 9 to 4, I'm just gonna be, for my own sanity's sake, going like, yeah, you know what, that's a 2 to 1. Close enough. And I would also recommend just going with it. Did that just turn the wrong way? I think it did. I would recommend that for your own sanity and what you're building, build it something like this. And then you can just repeat it, build 2 of those, and then you will have a much better. So we are going to look at the over here. I'm just going to remove the belts that we've been, or branching belts here. And we're going to connect it to there. And it goes over to this one. So this is what I would make here. Now, if you build it like this, these are actually not going to keep up. And if they're not keeping up, that means you're going to have a slight bounce. This one will produce 1.5 every second. Oh, yeah, 1.5 per second. This one will be producing 1.3 every second. If you really want to be really fancy with this, you can overuse a bit of iron to get it in here. And let me just show you the design for that. Okay, so let's look at another design that is slightly oversaturating these two, but make sure that they are actually working at a correct speed. So I'm going to start by making one of these, and then I'm going to make in here, between them, I'm going to make another smelter, and make sure that the distances here are correct. And then we're going to make 2 smelters additionally, just to get in there, there, and in there. Yes. And let's see if we can get it. I'm also going to take this one, and I'm going to sneak it in through here between. And then it's all about just adding inserters here. So the first ones we do are the long ones, because they're a bit more complicated here. That one and that one. So now this one is the 5th one, is just overfeeding these, and inbound, wrong location, inbound and inbound. I'm gonna take it on this side, and yes, I did it again. I forgot to build this, but that can be solved with either 2 of these or one of the other ones. Let's hook this up, and first of all, we need to make sure that this is changed to magnets. And I will then take a power pole and just see how much we can smash in with 1 power pole. There we go. What this is now doing is it is consuming ever so slightly more, but it does so in order for this one to keep going. And it's kind of important also to take the right recipes here. That one and that one. Yes, so those are now the correct ones. So what you're seeing here is now this one will be saturated, and it'll be working at full speed. So if you're going to make a cube build, I would recommend building a cube build like this, because you're using slightly more iron inbound. Basically what you're making in terms of inbound, you're going to be using 3 iron 3 iron per second for this build. So I hope you found this useful, and what I've just done is just clean up the design so that you have something that's really nice and crisp. What I've done here is basically I've taken the iron ore belt, as I mentioned. I'm taking it down the middle here and grabbing it. The first part takes the first 3 iron and the last part takes the last 3 iron, and they're going to go in making the circuit boards and the magnetic coils. What I've just done is just wave this copper belt over. I did not really talk about it, but it is explained in the basic tutorial. But if you press the up button or the down button, then you can raise and lower it. But since it's mentioned in the in-game tutorial, I don't really feel that it was necessary, but just giving you a slight indication of how it can be applied to your game, bringing these 2 lines out here quite neatly, and that will be at a perfect ratio for you to build the blue science cubes, and I would not recommend making it bigger than this. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. It all the way from miners, belts, sorters, and smelters and assemblers all in one, and then combining it into how to make some good designs that are going to be useful in the early game. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, and of course if you want to watch more content like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button to follow what's going on the channel. If you have ideas or comments for future episodes, either in my Let's Play or for tutorials, then be sure to let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys either here on YouTube or maybe over on Twitch, where I'm also streaming Dyson Sphere Program. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay effective.